The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on Tom's Radio Toronto are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of Tom's Radio Toronto or its staff. These broadcasts are presented and made public as entertainment and general information only, in the hope that they will be entertaining and informative to listeners. They are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate in any way any disease or condition, or to promote any specific lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice, nor is the information presented necessarily accurate or verifiable.
And this is your news at 4. Indonesia new epicenter of Asia as virus cases skyrocket. Deadline Jakarta, Indonesia. Virus rock Indonesia posted record daily infections topping 54,000 on Wednesday as the highly infectious Delta variant trips across the archipelago catapulting it ahead of India as Asia's COVID-19 epicenter. The Southeast Asian nation has been battered by a virus explosion that overwhelmed hospitals, leaving scores to die at home while desperate relatives hunt for oxygen tanks to treat the sick. On Wednesday or today, Indonesia's health ministry posted its highest ever 54,517 new cases and 991 deaths in 24 hours. Recent daily mortality rates are as high as 10 times the numbers in early June. But the official data is widely believed to be a severe undercount due to low testing rates and poor contact tracing. Indonesia could become the epicenter of the pandemic, but it's already the epicenter of Asia, said Diki Budiman, an Indonesian epidemiologist at Australia's Griffith University. If you look at the population difference between India and Indonesia, then the pandemic is far more serious than in India. Indonesia's real number of daily cases could be topping 100,000 a day and threatened to double by the end of the month, with as many as 2,000 daily virus deaths. Budiman warned India, which was battered by eye-watering COVID wave earlier this year, was now reporting an average of about 44,000 daily cases and 1,028 deaths. But its population is almost 5 times that of the nearly 270 million people in Indonesia, which has about 141 cases per million people compared with around 29 cases per million in India, according to the website ourworldindata.org. On a cumulative basis, India has tallied more than 30 million infections and over 400,000 deaths since the pandemic started, well ahead of Indonesia's official 2.6 million cases and 69,210 deaths. Last week, the world's fourth most populous nation rolled out tighter curbs, including shutting down shopping malls, restaurants, and offices in its hard-hit capital, Jakarta, across densely populated Java, and on holiday island Bali. It later extended a web of less severe restrictions across the 5,100-kilometer long or 3,170-mile archipelago from Sumatra in the west to easternmost Papua. But now there are fears that the highly transmissible Delta variant first identified in India, was hitting more remote areas where health facilities could not handle a major outbreak. Neighboring Malaysia on Wednesday saw a high or a record high 11,680 new COVID-19 cases and 118 deaths. Singapore, one of the most successful places in tackling the pandemic, posted 56 fresh cases, mostly linked to karaoke bars, the highest number of daily domestic infections for months. Of course, Singapore is like the Philippines. We love karaoke. Precisely. Well, kakaawa naman po, no? Indonesia, do you know how much people are in Indonesia now? More than 270 million population. The Philippines has 109 million, or nearing 110 million. Not even half of Indonesia's population is the Philippines' number of citizens. 109 million in the Philippines. Well, probably it's the vaccine, probably, or we could not say what really made the pandemic. They were saying it is the variant, the Delta variant, that further affect the coronavirus pandemic in Indonesia. Well, kakawa po, ano? Kakawa. At any rate, naranasan na rin sa Pilipinas yan. That's why the president of Indonesia, they're trying to lure people or to ask the citizens to have their vaccine immediately. But of course, they are still lacking some vaccine. Like the Philippines, probably 1 or 2 days stoppage of vaccination in the Philippines, lately na lang po dumarating Lately. Ang Indonesia po, yan po ang pinakamalaking Muslim nation in Asia. Kung ang Pilipinas po, pinakamalaki naman, almost 80% of Christianity. Sa Indonesia naman po, sa Jakarta, ay Muslim. I visited, ako po, nabisita ko na yung Jakarta several times when I was still a sports writer in the Philippines. Nagko-cover po ako ng mga boxing tournament doon marami pong Pilipino rin doon, napakarami. Pero Muslim po ang karamihan doon. At any rate, sana po matigil na rin doon sa kanila, makontrol nila yon. Pero dami pong namamatay everyday. Biglang sumirit po pataas dahil na sinasabi yung variant ang matindi ngayon doon. At any rate, other news in Asia, U.S. pushes ASEAN to hold Myanmar accountable on coup. Deadline Washington, the U.S. has deep concerns about the situation in Myanmar following February's coup, urging the Association of Southeast Asian Nations to take action, the State Department said yesterday. Myanmar has been in chaos and its economy paralyzed since the military ousted Aung San Suu Kyi's government earlier this year, accusing it of fraud during 2020 election. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called on ASEAN to take joint action to urge the end of violence, the restoration of Burma's democratic transition, and the release of all those unjustly detained. State Department spokesman Ned Price said in a statement using the country's former name, as well as expressing his deep concern about ASEAN member Myanmar. Blinken also pushed the bloc to put into place its 5-point plan for Myanmar drafted in April, calling all ASEAN to take immediate action to hold the Burmese regime accountable to the consensus and appoint a special envoy, said Price. Earlier this month, Washington imposed press sanction on 22 people related to the military coup and subsequent attacks on the country's pro-democracy movement. Former leader Suu Kyi is currently under house arrest while on trial for a raft of charges that could see her jailed for more than a decade. Mass demonstrations against the takeover were met with violent repression around the country, which is also dealing with surging coronavirus infections. More than 900 civilians had been killed by the junta's forces, according to a local monitoring group. The military has justified its action as a means to protect the democracy, alleging electoral fraud in November election, which Yuki's parties won via landslide. Myanmar has been ruled almost continually by the army since 1962, just over a decade since independence from Britain. It emerged from outright military rule in 2011, enacting economic and political reforms including multi-party elections. Alam nyo, matagal na rin pong military rule ang nagpapatakbo ng bansang yan, yung Myanmar. Nakakulong na rin nung araw yan. Naaalala ko yung babae, si Suu Kyi. Yan po ang yung parang legendary heroine nila, yung bayaning babae, para si Joan of Arc, yung ganon, lady ko niyan Iron Lady. Pero yun po, nung nagkaroon na election sila, nagkadayaan daw, galit na galit yung military. Sapagkat continuous reign of the multi-party list system, yung pong democracy, multi-party yan Maraming partidong naglalaban-laban. Yung baga nag-aagawan sa posisyon. Parang sa Pilipinas, napakarami pong multi-party system ang Pilipinas ganon na nangyayari. At any rate, sana nga po, parang nakikialam na yung US dito Sapagkat ang US mo, we all know that pro-democracy yan Ayaw niya na may mga bansang new Yurakan demokrasya. Ganon nakita lang, nagkudita ang Myanmar yun asking, the US asking all its ASEAN members, yung mga bansa pong member ng ASEAN, kasama Pilipinas dyan, para magbigay na sila ng kanilang desisyon dito. Will they support Myanmar? Thank you. Or deplore what the coup leaders had been doing to the democracy of Burma. Hindi na po Burma yan. Yung po ang dating pangalan yan. Myanmar na ngayon yan. Okay? Well, balitang Pilipino. Heto na ang inihintay ng mga Pilipino dahil nagbabangayan po ang Pacman faction, at saka ang Presidente Duterte Group. May mangyayari na po silang National Assembly sa July 17. At ang magpipreside yan, pakinggan nyo po, historian to, Duterte to preside over PDP Laban meeting. President Rodrigo Duterte is set to preside over the Partido Demokratiko Pilipinos Lakas ng Bayan o PDP Laban National Assembly on July 17 in Clark, Pampanga, amid the feud between the factions of acting party president Senator Manny Pacquiao and Vice Chairman Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi. PDP Laban Acting Secretary General Malvin Matibag confirmed the meeting yesterday, saying it was Cusi who called for the gathering. Well, sabi po nila, Malacanang is unfazed by the threat to expel Duterte as chairman of the ruling PDP Laban political party. So it is the president himself, the chairman of the ruling PDP Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan, who will preside. sabi nga ng mga kwan ni Pacquiao, hindi nga illegal yan. Paano magiging illegal? It is the president himself. Ha? As the chairman of the ruling party who will preside over the July 17 National Assembly in Clark, Pampanga. Well, we know PDP Laban had very few members before. Sabi nga, Pangulong Duterte became president. Ayan. Well, sabi pa nga ni Roque, as he belittled the PDP Laban founded by the late Senator o Senate President Aquilino Nene Pimentel Jr., which has only a handful of allies prior to Duterte's presidential run in 2016. Well, in another development, Roque brushed aside former Senator Antonio Trillanes' tirades against the president, whom the former Magdalo soldier described as drug-crazed when he appeared in public for his weekly talk to the nation. Well, that's gutter talk and he will not respond to it, Roque said. Well, Surigao del Sur Representative Prospero Pichay Jr. warned Trillanes that he could face libel charges for unfounded allegation that Duterte and Senator Bongo siphoned 6.6 billion pesos in public funds. Pichay says Duterte's signature is nowhere to be found in documents from the Department of Public Works and Highway involving government contracts. I'm sure you're not going to see signatures of the President Duterte or Senator Bongo. So what is your basis? Pichay asked Trillanes. Earlier described Trillanes' plunder expose as an old issue that he has already addressed in 2018. But one thing is sure, President Rodrigo Duterte will preside over the PDP Laban meeting is scheduled July 16. So Webes na yan And July 17. Uy, nako, delikado na si Manny Pacquiao. I've heard some chismis, ika nga natin, that magkakaroon na eleksyon sa gaganapin pong General Assembly or National Assembly at tatanggalin ng acting president. Ayaw maniwala ni Pacquiao na siya acting president. Nilagay lang naman siya doon temporarily. Masasabi mong ikaw ang presidente if you were elected by the National Assembly. Magkakaroon pala every 2 years. Nitong last year ka lang naupo ata dyan as acting president. Alright. Well, sabi ko nga kanina sa ating balitang bayan, pabobotohin na raw ba or papayagan bang bumoto ang mga COVID-19 pasyente? Well, magbabalik po ang news at 4 after some words from our friends. Don't go away, I'll be back.
Our company is committed to providing truthful, honest, competent, and result-oriented service through advising and representing our clients in Canada and overseas in a wide range of immigration matters. We focus on providing support, building dependable relationships, and promoting success. We are dedicated to understanding what results you want and to helping you understand what actions we can take on your behalf.
I'm back! News at 4 with Mondatol. Well, tomorrow, listen carefully as I said. We will be having our first sports talk program with my co-handsome DJ Owen. It will be Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m. Ayan, that's a new show. We will be discussing about the latest in esports, particularly the NBA. Tonight, it will be game, what's tonight? Game 3. Oh, game 4. Mamaya po, I have a story about it in sports news. But tomorrow, Sports Talk with Mondatol and Owen starts at 2 to 3. Thursday, every Thursday. Alright, patuloy po ang ating news at 4. Well, papayagan na ng Commission on Elections or COMELEC na makaboto ang mga COVID-19 patients sa 2022 national elections sa Pilipinas. Sa forum na ginawa kahapon ng House Committee on People's Participation na pinamumunuan ni Lone District San Jose del Monte City Representative Florida Rida Robes, tinalakay ang mga pagbabago at limitasyon sa pagdaraos ng halalan ngayong may pandemya. Sinabi ni COMELEC spokesman James Jimenez, ang mga taong may COVID-19 o may mga sintomas ng virus ay papayagang makaboto sa araw ng halalan. Pero ihihiwalay ang mga ito sa isang isolation polling place para bigyang place bilang bahagi ng health at safety protocols. Ang nasabing estratehiya ay naging epektibo naman sa idinaos na plebisito sa Palawan noong Marso at 13. Sinabi ni Jimenez na lilimitahan lamang sa 5 mula sa dating 10 ang mga botante sa loob ng voting precinct upang maiwasan ang magkahawahan. Dahil limitado lamang ang papapasukin sa mga voting center, ang eleksyon ay magsisimula na, tandaan niyo po, bagong election time, alas 6 ng umaga hanggang alas 8 ng gabi sa May 9, 2022. Dati po kasi alas 8 nag-uumpisa hanggang alas 5 ng hapon. Ngayon, sa dami ng botante, they're expecting 60 million to track the polling places sa May 9, 2022. So alas 6 po ng umaga hanggang alas 6 ng gabi, mahaba-haba yan. Inihayag naman ni Robes na inorganisahan niya ang forum upang imulat ang mga botante sa mga pagbabago dahilan nga sa COVID-19 pandemic kung saan kailangan ng partisipasyon ng publiko sa nasabing 2022 national elections. Hayan. Ito, magugbalitan to Sa eleksyon pa rin, magugustuhan ito. Ni Maring Sendang, ni Ate Rose at lahat ng mga senior citizen at mga nanay. Lalo yung mga lola. Pakinggan niyo po. Paghalik sa mga baby sa kampanya, bawal na, sabi ng COMELEC. Nangiti ako ron. Hindi na maaaring magawa ng mga politiko ang mga dating gimmick na public display of affection o PDA na tinatawag, tulad ng paghalik sa mga sanggol o bata bilang bahagi ng kanilang kumpanya sa darating na 2022 presidential at local election dahil sa banta ng COVID-19. Bukod sa pagkarga at paghalik sa mga sanggol, bawal na rin ang pakikipagkamay at papakuha ng litrato ng mga kandidato sa publiko. So mga nanay, mga lola, Maring Sendang, Ate Rose, kung bawal halikan ang bata, pwede sa nanay. Higit lalo sa mga lola. O pahalik kayo, Lalo gwapo kandidato. Paano pag tumakbo si Willie Revillame, si Coco Martin, hindi kayo pahahalik? Pero bawal halikan ng bata, hindi bawal sa nanay, sa lola at matatanda. Anak ng dragon. Tuwan-tuwa yung mga lola. Si Marisendang napapahalakhak, napapalakpak. Alright, inamin naman ni Comelec spokesman James Jimenez na hindi may pagbabawal ang mass gathering sa halalan. Ngunit iginiit na kailangan itong i-regulate ng mga tagapagpatupad ng batas. Dapat din umanong ipagbawal ang pamamahagi ng pagkain. So, bawal ang pagkain. Ha? Pero kung gusto nyo, pag nakita nyo yung kumakampanya, halimbawa ang Pangulo si Pacquiao, takbuhan ninyo, may pamigay na kape yun. Kape naman, hindi naman pagkain yun eh. Pagkain ba matatawag yung kape? Sapagkat may pinagawa yung kape, yun parang 3-in-1 yata. Nandun yung mukha niya sa sachet. Ayan, nako. Sigurado yan. Malayo pa lang yung caravan ni Pacquiao, nagtatakbo na yung mga tao. Abay, matutuwa si Pacquiao. Akala niya, sinasalubog siya. Pag malapit na sa kanya, kape, kape, kape. Talaga marami po talagang mga nagagawang mga trick, ika nga natin, yung mga kandidato, no? At saka alam niyo ba, mga kababayan, sino pinakamalaking kinikita? Lalo ngayon, national election. Yung mga gumagawa ng kantang artista. Alam naman ninyo yan. Isang kanta niyan, baka binibenta na 100,000. O makasampung kanta yan, milyon na. Baka hindi lang 100,000 kung siya pa kakanta. Sasama sa kampanya, maniningil yan, talent fee ko, mga 5 milyon. O baka hindi lang 5 milyon, 10 milyon, isang election campaign. Ilan ba niyan? 10 mahigit. O di po ba? Sino ang pinakamalakas? Freddy Aguilar. Di ba? Tumakbong senador yan, under kay Duterte ba kumampanya yan? Or sinasama lang? Ganun yan eh. Kung sino ang makapagbabayad ng malalaki ng malaki, milyon-milyon. Pag nagpagawa pa ng kanta, ginawa ng kanta niya si President Duterte noon eh. Hindi ko alam kung magkano kinita, pero kay Pacquiao, nako, sa dami ng pera ni Pacquiao. May kanta na siyang ginawa kay Pacquiao eh. Napakinggan niyo na ba? Bawal pa yata patugtugin yun. Pero ako, meron na ulinigan na akong kanta niya yan eh. Hindi ko alam magkano binayad ni Pacquiao sa kanya, pero highest paid yan si anak. Hindi po ba? Marami nga nagsasabi, nako ba't naman bumalimbing kagad si Capredi? Pera po tayo, pera. Hindi naman natakakandidato si Capredi ngayon eh. Ba't siya mag-uubos ng pera kung kikita naman siya ng maraming pira, ika nga natin. O nang isinilang siya sa mundo, ano napala niya rito? O di ba? Well, hinahangaan ko si Fred Aguilar. I like all the songs that he did previously. O yung before, yung anak, yung bulag pipit bingi. Yan ang ganyang ginagawa pag election bulag pipit bingi. At saka yung Magdalena. Gustong-gusto ko yung mga kantan yan na yun. Pero dito sa politika, masama na ang balita natin eh. Bumalimbing na raw siya. Pinasabi ng mga kritiko, tinitira na si Duterte, patapos na siguro yung hindi niya maintindihan, tatakbo ba si Sara para makabalik siya sa grupo. Pero hindi na po siguro, baka nakapirma na ng kontrata kay Manny Pacquiao May kanta na si Manny Pacquiao sa kanya ginagawa lang niya na ibang version yung anak Ibang tono, ibang lyrics. Anyway, alam masama rin Gustong kumita nung mama. Ano ba magagawa kayo? Ang bata-bata nung asawa nun. O di po ba? Freddy Aguilar, alam problema yan. Basta nasa lugar yung kuwan mo. Hindi ka naman politiko talaga Anyway, pagbalik po ng Maring Sendang. Ikaw na lang pahalik, huwag na apo mo. Lalo kung gwapo. Kung matanda na rin kandidato, wala nang asim, ba't pahahalik ka? Ni pa kami nga, di ka papakamay pakukuha pang picture, mahawa ka pa. Papatawa lang po tayo at nagiging seryoso bidan Mas maraming Pinoy ngayon gusto nang magpabakuna. Magandang balita ito. Mula sa 16% noong February, lumobo na sa 43% ang bilang ng mga Filipino na nais nang maturukan ng COVID-19 vaccine. Base sa resulta ng Pulse Asia Survey na isinagawa noong Hunyo 7 hanggang 16, ay nagpakita rin na may 36% pa